Hey, what is going on, you crybaby bang on? That's right, the Revavroom EX is looking dope. But before we get to the Revavroom EX, we got a couple more cards to take a look at. First, a couple more cards have been revealed. This one is coming out in the Obsidian Flames set. Of course, we got the Town Department Store. Once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for a tool card, reveal it, and put it into their hand. Then that player shuffles their deck. So, tool searching stadium card, pretty cool. Definitely going to be good with the Revavroom. We're going to get to the Revavroom here in just a second. I can't really see this being that great in many other decks that I can think of like right now. I guess it does kind of combo pretty cool potentially with something like the Sky Seal Stone, but in those kind of situations where you don't have a ton of different tool card options in your deck, you could just always play more of that tool card. I guess it would be like an out to a tool card plus a stadium card, so you'd have like an out to bump Path to the Peak or remove someone's Pokestop from play or bump Lost City or something like that. So there is like a little bit of extra value from playing like a stadium card instead of like an extra copy of Forest Sealstone potentially. But when we look at decks that are kind of playing really powerful tool cards right now, generally I feel like they're also playing another stadium card as well. I think maybe Gardevoir, like if you're playing Forest Sealstone or Sky Sealstone and Gardevoir kind of just plays stadiums because it needs outs to Path to the Peak. So, you know, you see stuff like Temple of Sinnoh in there and the Collapse Stadium. And then also usually the Artisan kind of just fills up the last void of just like, we need more stadiums in the Gardevoir deck. May as well play the one that finds our basic Pokemon. But I could see something like the Town Department Store being played in Gardevoir because you need those stadiums. So instead of playing like another Forest Sealstone or another Sky Sealstone, then you just play the Town Department Store over one of your stadium slots, and you don't really like lose space in your deck to try and fit another of those tool cards in. And then this could go find your Forest Sealstone or find your Sky Sealstone. So in Gardevoir, to be honest, besides Revavroom, of course, I think Gardevoir could have a home, or this could have a home in Gardevoir, the Town Department Store. So this one coming up, just really going to be taking a look at the tool card at the bottom here, but I'll go ahead and go over the Kingambit because while we're here, we might as well. And it doesn't seem terrible, to be honest. At 180 HP, it is a stage 2 Pokemon, but for 1 metal energy, the Execute attack, if your opponent's active Pokemon has 4 or more damage counters on it, it is knocked out. Now, getting to the 4 damage counters is going to be the potential difficult part. This is a stage 2, but it does only attack for 1 metal energy, which is pretty energy efficient. And if you're able to take KOs on big 2-prize or multi-prize Pokemon kind of in general, it's a pretty good trade-off, even if you are stage 2 Pokemon. But the initial setup might be kind of the hard thing. How are you getting those damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon? That's kind of the question. This tool card will help a bit for that. The Revenge Punch, when the Pokemon this card is attached to, is knocked out by damage from an attack your opponent's Pokemon. Oh, by an attack of your opponent's Pokemon. That threw me off there for a second. Put 4 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So a little bit of a revenge tool here. Obviously, Revenge Punch makes sense. Obviously, synergizes very well with Kingambit. But Kingambit, stage 2 Pokemon, I don't see this card still being good, even if it has a tool card like this Revenge Punch tool card. So I'm not holding out for the Kingambit to actually be any good. The Revenge Punch, though, might actually be decent with the Revavroom EX. This is a card I'm super excited for because, I don't know, I've always liked cards that have like unique, I guess this is an ability that's giving Revavroom this power, but its ability is this Pokemon may have up to 4 tool cards attached to it. If it loses this ability, discard tool cards from this Pokemon until there's only 1 remaining. It's got the Wild Drift attack, 2 metal and a colorless. That might be a little bit tricky to set up, to be honest. 2 metal and a colorless is not, yeah, it does not seem super easy to get going, to be honest. It does 170 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage. It's a stage 1, and it's got 280 HP. So there's a couple different ways you could build around the Revavroom. I do think we have to maybe wait a little bit for the 151 set release to get the actual good tool cards in there to be able to make Revavroom work. And I'll go over those tool cards in just a second. But there are some other tool cards in the format that could be pretty cool on Revavroom. We got stuff like Panic Mask, which could make it hard for like Gardevoir to KO it. And they have like a really cool kind of disruption route you could go, where you could include like 4 copies of like Rugged Helmet and like Spirit Mask. Rugged Helmet says whenever the Pokemon that this card is attached to gets attacked, you return an energy from your opponent's Pokemon to their hand. And then Spirit Mask says whenever the Pokemon is attacked, your opponent discards a card from their hand. So that's pretty cool. So like you could put like 2 Spirit Masks, 2 Rugged Helmets on a Revavroom. Your opponent attacks you, and then they have to discard 2 cards, return 2 energy from their active Pokemon to their hand, and then I don't know, maybe you could just play Cheryl and heal your Revavroom. So maybe some kind of like control type Revavroom deck could work. Those disruptive tool cards in there might finally be seeing some play. What I'm kind of holding out for, though, is some cards coming out of the 151 set, which will release after Obsidian Flames. Revavroom comes out in Obsidian Flames, which will be August 11th, I believe. And then 151 set will come out sometime in September, so about probably a month, a little bit over a month afterwards. The Rigid Band is the main one here. The stage 1 Pokemon this card is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. I got there eventually. So 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks if you're a stage 1. You could theoretically put 4 of these on your Revavroom, take a reduced 120 damage. Plus, if you're attacking with the Revavroom, you take reduced 100 or 30 more damage. So we're looking at reduced 150 damage, which seems pretty reasonable to me on a stage 1 that has 280 HP. And then the leftovers also could be pretty cool as well. Heals 20 damage from the Pokemon this card is attached to at the end of your turn. So a little bit tanky, a little bit healing. But like I said, the Panic Mask and Spirit Mask, or the Rugged Helmet and the Spirit Mask could also be a pretty cool combo of like a Disruption Revavroom type deck. And we also have the other Revavroom in the format as well, the non-EX Revavroom, that could provide some type of draw engine because it evolves out of the same basic Pokemon, where it says discard an energy card from your hand and draw up until you have 6 cards in your hand. So overall, I'm really excited for Revavroom. They are giving Revavroom a lot of stuff to work with in the next 2 sets, and I think something will definitely come of this. Even if it's only like a fringe, you know, tier 4, tier 5 type deck, I do think it is possible that we could see it pushing to actually be like a reasonable deck in the meta. The hard part, of course, is going to be setting it up to actually attack. The double metal colorless attack cost is a little steep, but I'm hoping that it works out for the Revavroom because, like I said, I'm a big fan of these kind of multiple tools on a Pokemon type cards with like an attribute or an ability that somehow makes them that much different from every other card in the format, gives them a little bit more to work with, and hopefully it ends up working out and Revavroom is pretty good. And that's going to do it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, as always, give it a like, leave me a comment. What other tool cards could we be putting on our Revavroom EX? Is there anything I missed that you guys think would be really, really cool or powerful on the Revavroom? Yeah, what other tool cards are out there that I missed? I think I went through all of them. I literally looked at all the tool cards in the current format. Of course, you have stuff like Choice Belt and stuff like that, but I wasn't really going to mention like Choice Belt. You have Defiance Band. But I thought the coolest ones that I definitely looked across when I looked at all the tools, the Rugged Helmet and the Spirit Mask definitely seemed like the coolest ones that you could kind of combo with the Revavroom. Like I said, some type of control disruption type Revavroom deck. You Iono your opponent low, and then if they want to attack you, they have to discard 2 cards. That seems pretty good to me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Catch y'all in the next video.